What's happening, members of League Zero? I am your host, Gravekick, and welcome to the Week 6 edition of the Novice Countdown. I'm here with a few of my guests. Their name.
Hi, my name is Corbs. I'm the main tank for Geometric, and I'm also a Torb enthusiast.
Hi, my name is Golden Pants. I play for Team Hyperflex, and I'm the Flex player.
What's up, guys? I'm Brandon. I play support for Team Fletchet.
Awesome, guys. So yeah, today we have a few new guests. We actually have a returning guest in Corpse, which is great. But before we actually go into the weekly recap, I briefly want to go over the rundown as we have hit the mid-season break. So to begin, at the number 1 spot, we have Wisdom Academy at 5-0 with a 10 map differential, following OTW with a 4-1 map differential, with a 4-1 win-loss record with a 9 map differential, Geometric at 3-2 with a 4 map differential, Hyperflex at 2-3 with a -3 map differential, Platcha at 1-4 with a -5 map differential, and Rio at a staggering 0-5 -15 map differential. So I remember at the beginning of the season, we all the novice analysts and myself actually did a little bit of preseason power rankings. And I just want to get your guys' opinion. Do these mid-season power rankings actually surprise you guys, especially with your beginning expectations before going into this season?
Honestly, not at all. I kind of expected One Trick Wonders to be one of the better teams in Novice. I definitely expected Wisdom. I definitely expected the top 3 to be where it is now and the bottom 3 to be where it is now. I just thought that some of the casters overrated some teams, to be honest.
Yeah, I can agree there. I feel like actually, if I remember correctly, most people had Hyperflex at number 1 in terms of analyst predictions, and I feel like that was because they did have a lot of returning League Zero members on their management, so I feel like that was a factor in it. But what we can see here is with the Wisdom Academy and Geometric, there are 2 brand new teams coming to the League Zero scene, and they're doing really, really well. So those 2 really surpassed my expectations. What about you, Golden Pants and Brandon?
I personally believe that I expected it to turn out like this way, just because somebody has good staff members. If they're players, we have, I believe, 5 DPS players, and so with just that amount of people, it's like the San Francisco Shock. Not everybody's going to get playtime, and it doesn't matter how good you are just on that one role if everybody else is not synergizing. So I believe that, I expect the power rankings to be here just with how much we allocate into one spot. But honestly, overall, it makes sense.
Fair.
For my personal opinions, I definitely didn't expect Wisdom Academy or any team to be 5-0 in the first 5 weeks. It's really, really impressive. They've managed to beat every team so far. I definitely thought Hyperflex was also going to do a lot better. I actually thought they were going to be a top 2 or top 3 team when on the date of the original draft, and I didn't expect any team to go 0-5.
Let alone 0-5, -15.
Yeah, that's rough, man. That's rough.
It's rough. It's rough, and you gotta feel bad for the
Can we
real
make a
boys.
petition to rename them Dragons?
I just call them 3-0 Redemption.
Oh!
Okay. Well, to be honest, the Shanghai Dragons did for season 1 did take maps off. Let's be real here, okay?
Yeah.
Listen, yeah.
And they did get a tie against us, but we don't talk about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
You guys were down 5 players. It's alright.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we should go into actually the weekly recap for this week's games. So the first game we actually have is going to be Geometric versus OTW, where OTW actually ended up scratching out the win very close in a 3-2 favor. We actually have Corbs main tank here on Team Geometric. So Corbs, I always ask you this question many times, but what was your team's expectations and what went wrong in this game?
I would say our team's expectations, we kind of knew it was going to be close. We didn't know it. I knew it was going to go to a map 5. I'd say the biggest mistake that happened was, it was actually on our coaching staff, where we didn't have a coach show up for the final map, and we were like, what are we doing wrong? So plus we never really practiced Oasis too much, which was a mistake on our parts. So yeah.
Alright, fair enough. But do you think OTW surpassed your expectations by any means, or do you just feel like this is the top team?
I definitely do. I definitely do think they are definitely top 3 easily. I'd say with the rankings right now, it's kind of obvious. You have the teams that are title contenders and then playoff contenders. So like the bottom 3 is really just playoff contenders right now, and then the top 3 has a chance to actually win it all.
Fair enough, fair enough. Golden Pants and Brandon, if you guys watch this game, what was your guys' take on it?
I heard
Gordon,
quite a
go
few
first.
things about the game, and I saw parts of the game. It was very close through some of the parts, but then Oasis just wasn't as clean from you guys as I expected.
Fair, fair.
And it was 2 of the top 3 teams going at it, so I knew it was gonna be a really good game. One Trick Wonders pulled out on top, and that I think that was probably predicted.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was a really good match.
Yeah, it was honestly a really fun match. But I also have to ask, Corbs, how was Geometric going to take this loss and improve on in the future, especially going to the second half season
Oh,
where
no.
hero pools are going to be implemented?
Oh no, like with hero pools being implemented, I believe we can actually show off our strengths because believe it or not, like I hate playing Reinhardt, ironically, and so I just thought I really want to show my flexibility too. Like I don't want to be known as a Ryan one trick, and so that'll be very exciting to see.
Awesome to hear. Going on though, the player of the match was first Abyss. And the honorable mentions were Andy, Crystal, and Repeat. Anyone have anything to add on those players in particular?
Honestly, Anti-Crystal just shut down. Anti-Crystal just shut down our DPS. Like that's what won in the game too. First Abyss did a phenomenal job on Ana. He hit some clutch sleeps. I love it. And then Repeat is just Repeat. His DPS is insane. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think that all these three players in particular did help edge the OTW win overall. But generally, OTW did play very good overall. That's in general. So congrats OTW on that win. The second week of the game was Platcha versus Wisdom Academy, and this game I would have to give it the game of the week. Honestly, I didn't expect Platcha to even bring it this close, even take a map, and the fact that they actually forced Wisdom Academy to fight back from a down 2-0 is a skill in itself. So we actually do have a Platcha member here, Brandon. So Brandon, my main question is, and probably the biggest question people are wondering, what happened, especially when you guys got reverse swept?
I mean, it was a really, really close game, and we all had so much fun playing. When we took the first 2 maps, I think it really got to our head. We became really cocky. Really like, oh, we're gonna 3-0 this team that's so much better than us. We're gonna prove ourselves. But honestly, they put up a really good fight, and we should have played through to the end really hard. But I'm still really proud of how far we went against them.
Yeah, definitely. I have to give you guys props though. Like taking 2 maps against Wisdom, not even some of the top teams could have done that. So that was really good. But do you guys what was your guys' preparation coming to this Wisdom game? And do you think it paid off?
I mean, we prepared well. We scrimmed before. We were also down our main flex support Anju, so I was playing flex support, which I don't normally do, but it happened, and we had a few off rolling, but really we pulled it together. We did our best to make it work. We tried our hardest, and it paid off. We took 2 maps.
Fair enough, fair enough. Corbs and Golden Pens, you guys have anything to add about this game?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I am very impressed by Platcha after essentially what happened with the past 3 weeks before the One Trick Wonders game. Like we literally 3-0'd Platcha and they didn't take a single point off of us. And then we got 3-0'd by Wisdom, and the fact that they took them to 5 maps, that really does impress me. And then another thing as well is that I really noticed is Wisdom's reliance on Splash. Like Splash is the top tier off tank in the league, in my opinion. Pretty much, if he is alive, he will carry the fight.
Fair. Yeah, I definitely have to agree there. I know Splash is really good, but speaking about people on Wisdom Academy, one person that actually helped bring the reverse sweep into effect was actually someone named Raga, who's actually their main tank. So they first went down 2-0 and with their starting main tank, but then they made a switch at halftime, bringing in Raga, and apparently Raga actually brought this enthusiastic attitude to actually cheer up Wisdom and actually help them complete the reverse sweep. So I do want to give a shout out to Raga. He played a huge role in them pulling off the reverse sweep.
Yeah, I'd say I'd say Ryguy is definitely deserving of the captain title because he is very much so like that guy that the team can rely on. Like he is, like just pump in resources and he'll carry.
Sorry,
So.
I actually made a mistake. Sorry. Oh, I'm so dumb. Red Knight subbed in for Ryga, and Red Knight actually brought up the enthusiastic attitude. Oh my god. I'm a pig enough.
No.
Red Knight's
Oh,
gonna DM me now and short bro. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I meant to say
boy.
Red Knight. Okay, Ryga, you played good, but at the halftime mark, Red Knight actually subbed in and actually brought the enthusiastic attitude. So I do want to give a shout out to him. I'm very bro. He's actually gonna get mad at me now. Holy.
It
Yikes.
was Red Knight's aggression.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Red Knight's Reinhardt aggression was really annoying to deal with, really difficult to deal with, and he played around really well.
But going on, let's go into the player of the match, who was Splash, who Corbs brought up. He played it exceptionally, and also on mention was Titanic. And I think Titanic has gone a lot of honor mentions in a row. I keep seeing his name pop up right there. But yeah, these two players did actually help with McGuire edge out the win and solidify the victory. But going on to the last game of the week, we actually have Hyperflex versus Rio Redemption. And I don't think I think none of us were surprised by this win. Yeah, it was a 3-0 win. To be honest, it's less of Hyperflex being good and more of Rio being weak. Every week I tell myself Rio's getting better. Rio might get better. But then I keep seeing them get 3-0 and I'm starting to lose hope. I'm sorry. Like, do you guys have anything to add?
Go ahead.
Yeah, last week on Countdown you pointed out how their DPS line was amazing, and then one of their DPS line left. So
Yeah.
that's honestly my biggest thing. They were starting to look better. They were starting to get synergized, and when their DPS line left, their main Mei player, I believe, and so now they just got to get synergy up between another Mei and another main tank, and now they lose all the synergy that they had because Mei might be banned, so they're going to have to keep switching out their DPS until they find another DPS dude that just works really well.
Yeah.
You can't afford to lose someone who's that instrumental to your team this late in the season.
And also, I'd say that losing. I mean, who'd they lose? Good dog. Oh yeah, we picked him up.
Yeah.
But my bad. But I'd say definitely losing your main tank and your main player is like nuts. I'm not gonna lie. Rio is just looking like a cluster fire at this point. Or cluster. I'm not gonna say the word, but
Charlie Foxtrot.
Yep, Charlie Foxtrot. And so I don't know how they're gonna do because the supposed scrim gods, quote unquote, are really just falling apart in game.
Yeah, I mean, I want Rio to succeed, right? But I don't think I've seen this ever. Minus 15 map differential. Every week has been a 3-0. Yeah,
Yeah.
At this point, you have to start thinking. I think a full rebuild has to happen. I think it's not like your whole roster. You had good pieces, but you lose one of your major DPS players in 18. Wait, which one of their DPS left?
Good doggy.
Yeah,
Doggy.
good doggy. Oh yeah, previous Rio Redemption player, right? So now you're losing the synergy with ATZ, and ATZ is like the only bright spot I see on this team right now. The only bright spot. So it's either that you drop everyone and keep ATZ and build a team around him, or just fully rebuild in itself. Because right now, as the weeks go by, it doesn't seem like Rio's getting any better.
Yeah, honestly, I would do the plan where you just build around ATZ. ATZ is the kind of guy you can build around and set up opportunities for him, and he'll do his job really well.
He's really good. I had the inopportunity of having to go up against him as on and just try focus him down. That was fun. And also I want to point out that even though I was called in, told that I was going to be playing in game 30 minutes before game time.
Oh,
And
wow.
so we really even had that going with them. They had our main support just not knowing what was going on. We had tons of people just in complete disarray, and we still managed to get the 3-0. That's not a good look for them.
Yeah. Golden Pins, you actually won this game, so I want to ask you, did Rio even surpass your expectations at all, or was it just same old, same old?
In all honesty, the reason why we lost Hanamura, I fed. Legitimately. I played bad. We should have had the 3-0, no ties. They didn't surpass any expectations. We got surprised that they managed to semi-win a team fight in a 5v6 with all their ults. But that's pretty much the only thing that surprised me.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. This was just typical Rio Redemption. That's all you have to say for them. But going on the play. Oh, so you want to add something?
They're AZ, the
ATZ.
ATZ, yeah. He's really good. Legitimately, they can build around him. If he gets a main tank off tank that he can synergize with, is able to call out when he's being dove, when he's purple, call out when stuff's happening around him. You can have a whole team centered around him, build an NYXL style ATZ replacing Jonak. Legitimately, you can have him carry you guys to victory.
Yeah, I mean ATZ is a really good Widowmaker. I would even consider him a potential like rookie of the year if I have to give. I feel like he is one of the best Widowmakers in novice. I wouldn't say
If he has a
Diva.
good team.
If he has a good team. A lot of it goes down to his mechanical skill alone. But going on though, the player of the match was Gordor and Alucard, and the honorable mentions were Herping, Yoshi, and Golden Pin. So Golden Pin's congrats to you for getting the honorable mention. But yeah, also Gordo, Alucard, and Herping Yoshi. I really praise these three. I do think Herping Yoshi is one of the better off-tanks in this league. And I do think Alucard, his Genji and McCree is really good, but I would like to see him flex onto a little bit more heroes. I know his Mei is somewhat decent at times, but yeah, these three players really did impress me. So anyone want to add anything? Oh, sorry, Corpse.
I'll be honest with you, if like Hyperflex puts all their resources into Alucard, he is unkillable and just a monster on Genji. Like, if Dive ever becomes meta and when we play against him, we're screwed. Like,
And I just want to point out he has incredible game sense as well, just somehow managing to know when people are purple, or when they're low, when, like, somebody just gets flashed. He immediately just lands the one-shot combo on them, and immediately just goes onto the supports. Not a care in the world. He charges Blade in like 30 seconds, and I can't keep up with him.
Honestly, a really good player, but yeah, so let's go into the last segment of today, which is actually predictions. So the first game of the week, we have Redemption for Geometric, and Corpse, of course, you can't give a prediction for this game, but all of us have Geometric winning 3-0. So Corpse, my first question is, this is going to be hero pulls, right? You know, it's not going to be the typical meta. So do you think, how are you guys preparing for this game? And do you think Rio actually, this might be a turnaround for Rio?
I'll be honest with you, we haven't really prepped much because we've just been running the same thing except just replacing Mei. So it's nothing. It's nothing too special. So
All right, fair enough.
we're just gonna stick to what we're good at, and yeah.
Golden Pants and Brandon, why do you guys think it's Rio? Do you think it's Geometric being good or Rio being weak?
Can I speak first, Brandon?
Good. Yep, you're on.
Alright, so let me put it this way. Geometric's one of the top teams in the league. Easily. Last week, Hyperflex is not one of the top teams in the league. We 3-0'd them. It's that simple.
Fair enough.
Honestly, I don't think Rio stands much of a chance against Geometric. I mean, as they're trying to reform their team, make their team better, and change things around, I still don't think they stand a chance. I don't think they're even gonna pull one map.
Alright, fair. But yeah, there's not much you can say about Rio. Like, it's hero pulls. You would think that there is some opportunity there, but it's gonna be hard. Like, they haven't made that many roster moves, and I think Geo's gonna take this in a very convincing fashion. I'll be very surprised if Rio draws or takes the map.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I think
There's
sorry, Corpse.
I'm gonna say it. There's a reason why they're called 3-0 Redemption.
Also, enabled to the ability to play around map pools, know what works well in the map pools, knowing how to organize around what's gone, what's banned, takes time and synergy. What does Rio not have?
I missed energy.
100%. It's going to be an easy 3-0 for Geometric, and I'm going to be very surprised if anything else happens.
I'll just whip out the Corbjorn. Screw it.
Oh, if you
I'll
do
be
that,
watching to see that. I'll be watching to see that.
yeah, definitely. If you don't play the Corbjorn this game, I may have to unfriend you on Overwatch. I'm not gonna
Nano
lie.
hammer kill, please.
Oh.
Yikes.
Okay, fine. I'll try and whip him out.
Yeah. Whip.
I've been begging Colby, but he's still been saying no.
Yikes. Colby be like that sometimes. Anyways, going to the next game of the week, where you have One Trick Wonders versus Wisdom Academy, and there's actually a little bit of not really a split. Corbs is the only one. Corbs thinks it's going to be a 3-2 for OTW, while all the rest of us think it's going to be a 3-1 or 3-2 for Wisdom Academy. Scorpius, I want to ask you, why do you think One Trick Wonders has the edge in this game?
Look, One Trick is a good team, and I do think they have the tools to beat Wisdom. The thing is, I don't think they're gonna like have a solid, very convincing win. It's gonna be a fight to the end, just like us, I guess you can say. And plus, if you look at week 1, they actually 3-2'd them, and both teams have improved greatly. So, well, Wisdom won 3-2. My bad. So yeah, it'll be, in my opinion, this will be the game to watch.
Definitely, I think this is definitely going to be the game of the week in my opinion. Two top teams battling it out again. It's going to be great to watch. But yeah, Brandon and Golden Pants, why do you guys think Wisdom Academy has the edge in this game?
Honestly, playing Wisdom, I saw how really coordinated of a team they are, how good of a team they are, and I don't know if One Trick can beat them. I put 3-2 for Wisdom, so I definitely think One Trick Wonders will put up a really good fight against them, but I don't think One Trick will be able to come out on top.
I do think it's going to be close, but I have to give the edge to Wisdom Academy. I really have to, in my opinion, I feel like they have one of the better coaching staffs in this league, and if they do keep working hard like as I am seeing them do, I think they will take this. Although it will be tough for them, I do think they're going to win this match.
Totally unbiased, by the way.
Okay, dude. I'm only a mental health coach. I'm only a mental health coach. What can I say?
Yeah.
And one thing I will point out though is how Wisdom managed to get into the hole early against Flatchat and then pull it back. We talked about Splash and Titanic. Those two, if they Wisdom now knows their win conditions if they didn't before. They know Titanic and Splash work together like a charm. Legitimately, all they need to do is just enable those two people and they will win. And that's why I don't think One Trick Wonders has a way to counter that. I legitimately don't. If Wisdom can just keep doing what they did in the final 3 maps and keep enabling Splash and Titanic, it'll be a win. Not an easy win, a hard fought win. Definitely match of the week. But it will be a 3-1.
Alright. Fair enough. But I think we can go on to the last game of the week, which will be Podjet vs Hyperflex. And Golden Pants and Brandon, you guys are both in this game, so Golden Pants, I want to ask you first, how are you guys preparing against Podjet? Considering that you guys almost lost against them in week 1.
We have a lot more synergy now than we did. We know what works for us a lot better than we did in week 1, obviously, because that was week 1. I think that we're just capitalizing on what makes us work. I'm not going to say anything about our strats because we have Brandon right here and most of Platchat's going to watch this. But all I'm going to say is that I expect a very good game, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say I don't expect us to take the win. In a very convincing fashion.
Convincing, okay, bold statement. But Brandon, how are you guys preparing for Hyperflex?
I mean, I feel like after our game, especially against Wisdom, we're very confident. We have a lot of synergy. We've been improving a lot. We have new players on our team, like myself, Bobs. We have Jaguar now on main tank. So, I feel like we're really confident going into it. We have lots to bring to the table, and I don't know. I feel like we're gonna come out on top. And Golden, I wish you the best of luck.
All right. So Corpse, I'm kind of indifferent with you here. You think Hyperflex could take this 3-1? So I want to ask you, why Hyperflex? Why does Hyperflex have the edge in this game?
Honestly, I messed up. I meant to say 3-2 Platchup.
Oh, no.
Listen. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But like, I think Platchat has improved so much like since we last played him. Like, obviously with like the new main tank switch, the new support line as well, and I think Anju is still like one of the best supports like in the league. I think that they definitely have a solid chance of just beating Hyperflex, which will be pretty big on their resume if they lost 3-2 to Wisdom and then beat Hyperflex like 3-2.
Yeah, definitely. I think Platchat, their new roster is looking for form. I feel like they're coming really confident. You know, they almost beat Wisdom Academy. They came with strong 3-3 redemption. I feel like this is going to be the start of a new era for Platchat. I feel like this is going to be their stage where they start to pop out. I feel like this could be the stage where they start to climb in the rankings. I actually think that they really try hard enough and they really start working hard. They could potentially possibly make it to the top 3. I know that's a bold statement, but I feel like if Platchat keeps working hard, they can hit that place.
Why am I getting season 1 vibes?
Wait, we gotta wait until it's playoff time to bring that into the question.
Yeah, that's true.
But do you guys have anything to add, or can we just wrap this up?
I think I'm good.
So I'm here. I gotta scrim in about 2 minutes, so I gotta get on.
Honestly,
So, yeah.
honestly, most of the games this week will be very entertaining to watch. So I'm honestly looking forward to the Hyperflex Platchat match. And the One Trick Wonders Wisdom game will also be a very good game to watch. Geometric Rio, and I
don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The Corbjorn.
That's facts. That's facts.
Unless.
Alright, but I think that's it for this week's segment. So thank you guys all for watching the week 6 edition of Countdown. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe, and we'll be back there for next week. See you guys.
Hello everybody, I am Pooter Scooter. This is the intermediate part of the countdown. I am joined here with Wiz,
Hello.
Nick,
What's up?
and Mohammed.
What's up?
Alright, let's get into the first game. It was Vitalize versus DC. Vitalize won. You guys have anything to say about that?
I think DC went off to a really good start at the beginning. It seems like they're actually like coordinated and like ult usage engagements, and like Vitalize when they came back in the map 2 absolutely like destroyed DC. And I think after that second map they didn't know how to come back, and it was mainly just the Vitalize game after that. And I think something specific is I think their tanks did really well on Vitalize. As we see, Dibs got player of the match there. So
Wait, how do you pronounce it?
that's Dibs,
Dibs?
main tank.
Alright, so as Mohammed said, Dibs got player of the match. Yeah, he is a good gamer. Alright, moving on to the next game. It's,
The other tank line.
CDC versus DKE. CDC won 3-1. Wiz, specifically you, because you're on DKE. Do you have anything to say about that game?
I'm pretty proud of what we've done. We basically, we've only been together for about 5 days before that match. So I'm really proud of our performance, basically. I believe the real reason why we lost is because of Surmi Zarya, and we just weren't able to deal with it, to deal with it.
Surmi did pop on Zarya. That's
Yeah, he just got, he got 100 charged every single fight, and then he would just take soft flanks, off angles, above our Ryan shield, and we just couldn't punish him.
Yeah.
I did get to cast this game, so this game was actually really close. I don't think the score really shows how close those maps were.
Every single map was close, and you guys actually really came back on control and took that, which you guys came off a really good start.
Definitely.
Yeah. And what was said, talking about Surmi got the honorable mention, and the player of the match was Vantage.
Yeah, Vantage is a really good player. No cap. I think a lot of rankings has him up there as one of the top projectile players, and he really showed why in that game.
He had really good Mei walls and stuff like that. I think his utility with Mei was really good, except I saw a little bit of questionable blizzards here and there, especially on Hanamura. So But overall, I think he definitely deserved player of the match.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next game. It's Papega Parrots versus Bob Burgers. Papega Parrots won 3-0. The player of the match was Viper, and the honorable mentions were Gino and Chicken.
This entire team played really good. It seems like when Papega has like their full roster, they're really like dominating these teams. And I saw a couple times where their scuffed roster, that's where they're getting their losses. So this team looked really strong.
It seems to be a weakness for a lot of teams, let's be honest here.
Yeah. Alright, moving on to the next game. It was Powerhouse versus Yoink. Powerhouse won 3-0. The player of the match was Owo, and the honorable mention was One Punch Man. Just overall, Powerhouse is a powerhouse of a team. I feel like they are at least top, I would say top 3, top 2 out of all of intermediate.
I would agree.
Yeah, they're very
I don't think
good.
there's any weak spots on their team.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing like actually stands out, and I think they all have like some of the best players on each role.
Yeah, I think the weakest part about their team is honestly their their like backups, right? Like we beat them week 2 only because Kef wasn't there, so they had to get a backup in. So it kind of shows just how good of a starting lineup they do have. So yeah, definitely agree there.
Yeah. Alright, so moving on to the next game, it was High Society versus Overcharge. High Society won 3-1 with a draw. Nick, do you have anything to say about this?
Yeah, this was an interesting game because this was like our first game with like, I think it was like 5 new players, including myself. So it was basically just a trial run. We were trying out a bunch of new stuff that we wanted to do, and it was good. Obviously, it's Overcharged, so we weren't expecting a lot, but they actually gave us a really good fight. So
Yeah.
it was a fun game.
Alright.
Skiller's kind of OP, not gonna lie.
Yeah. So the player of the match for that game was Sebs, and the honorable mention was Shinna.
Yeah, Sheena is definitely a very good player. I think he's like really underrated in the league, but that's kind of bias coming from me. And Sebs is like probably our most well-known player. He was on Papega Season 1. And
He's a very good off tank.
yeah, a very solid off tank for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Alright, moving on to the next game. It was Shanghai versus Wait What. Shanghai won 3-1. Muhammad, do you have anything to say about this?
I'm kind of mad we wasted some of our time before this game scrimming, because I don't think we actually needed the scrim time, considering how Wait What played.
God damn!
That is
Holy shit,
that is
okay.
a hot take right there.
That's not a hot take.
I mean,
It's a pretty good roast, dude.
They came out pretty strong in the first 2 maps, but then got destroyed in the last 2, so let's see how they go into next week.
yeah. And then the play of the match for that game was Tyler, and the honorable mention was The Bakery. Muhammad, do you have anything to say about those gamers? No? Alright. So,
Wait, what? My mic cut out. My
Okay.
headphones.
Do you have anything to say about Tyler and The Bakery?
Oh, no. I'm
Oh.
kidding. Tyler, he absolutely giga chatted on Soundwave. Tyler, just like, they couldn't stop him. Whether that was him playing good, or me and Lily being great and helping him. He was just great. And Bakery was also great with his man.
Yeah. Alright, moving on to the...
Well, good team performance.
Yes. Moving on to the predictions. First prediction we have is CDC versus Double Cap. We all think CDC is going to win. Just, they're a powerhouse of a team.
I definitely think they're the best team in Division A right now.
Yeah, and I think
Absolutely.
I feel like Division A, yes,
They're rebuilding.
but not in the whole league.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. And obviously, Double Cap made some trades recently. I'm not sure how many trades they did make, but they definitely have new players that they're probably going to be looking to play, and they're probably turning around their play style, so I'm not going to be expecting a lot out of DC just yet.
They're definitely still in the playoff run too, so
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not counting them out. I'm just saying this week might be a bit rough for them since they're just getting acclimated with all their new players.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like with those new players, they can at least get one map, but except from that, I don't expect anything more.
Yeah.
yeah,
Alright, so the next game, we have Bot Burgers versus DKE. So, we all think that
Okay, Nick.
DKE is going to get their first win, except for Nick.
So
Nick.
listen.
This is a dumb take.
Okay, so I watched the I casted the DKE game. Not yesterday, last week, right? And like, I feel like bot burgers, if they bring their actual like they bring their A game right away. Because I feel like CDC didn't bring their A game right away. They really took a while to warm up into the game. And I feel like Bot Burgers is the type of team to either show up or not show up. So if they do show up, I can really see them going all out and getting the 3-0.
Boppers literally look like some of my teammates, like they had no synergy. DK at least had synergy in like multiple parts. Some other players had like bright spots, like Elf, for example. So,
Sure. I could definitely see the DKE victory here if BB doesn't show up. I'm just trying to take the hot take.
Yeah. And
All right,
Liz, do you
fair
have anything
enough.
to say about this? Liz?
Oh man. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just, you know, I mean, not really. I think we're just gonna roll them. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. They're retooling a lot of their roster and replacing a lot of their players, and I think they'll need at least a week to figure things out, just like we did versus CDC. And like, yeah, we've been looking pretty good in scrims and everything.
Yeah. All right. And moving on to the next game, we have Pepega Parrots versus Vitalize. Everyone has Pepega Parrots winning except for me. I think that Vitalize is going to win 3-2. But I could see Pepega Parrots winning 3-2 as well. But I do not think that it's going to be either a 3-1 or 3-0 by either side.
I think I completely agree. I think this is going to go to map 5 regardless of the winner. And I feel like if Pepega can bring their A roster with all their starters, I think they can definitely take the win here. And if I believe correctly, I think Jeff's also going to be playing this week. So,
Oh,
this goes.
yes.
Yeah, it's one of the few reasons why I picked them up. I also just think, Isco will shut down Crybaby in this game, which will eventually lead to them winning the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next game. It's Powerhouse versus Overcharge. Do we even need to say it? Powerhouse is going to win. Like, Powerhouse is just a powerhouse. They are legitimately one of, if not the best team in the league. There's nothing more to
Powerhouse
say.
is I'd say the best team right now, unless proven otherwise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
I think that's
Overcharge
fair.
is coming off a loss from another bad team, so we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, did you just say that Overcharge just came off of a loss of a bad team?
Wait.
I
Okay.
didn't say that.
Nick?
When we beat you next
Nick?
week, who's gonna be the bad team then?
No comment.
That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, moving on to the next game. It's High Society versus Shanghai. I have High Society winning, while Wiz has Shanghai winning, and the other two people in the group chat
So.
cannot vote because
So.
they are on the other team. Take the L.
I can honestly just see this going either way. I can either see High Society's DPS just popping off here, or I can, see myself just playing as a full team as they've been doing these past few weeks. Yeah. I only put Shanghai Solids above them because they have more synergy with each other and they win with each other. They've had a stable roster since the very beginning now, I believe.
Yeah. Also, I really believe that even though High Society are 2-3 with a -4 map differential, they are a threat to be reckoned with. I believe, you guys changed your roster a bit, right?
Yeah, definitely. We got 5 new players. We've been playing around with a lot of new stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So overall, they're just a better team, and even though they have a 2-3 record compared to Shanghai's 4-1, it's still, I believe, going to be a close game.
I think all jokes aside, I think this is actually going to be a very close game.
I agree with that.
I agree with
for
that.
sure.
Yeah. I could see it going to map 5 or map 4, but I cannot see it being 3-0.
Yeah, for
I
sure,
can.
for sure. Oh yeah. When we're winning against you guys, for sure. I could see the 3-0 against you guys.
All right. Moving on to the next game is Yoink versus Wait What. wait, what is still a powerhouse? We all think they're gonna win, but
I think
Yoink
right
will
now
take some maps.
you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like if Wait What loses this game, I'm just not gonna bet it on all for the rest of the season. That's gonna be 3 losses in a row, and that's gonna be very concerning.
Yeah.
But as of right now, looking at both teams' performance from last week, I think Wait What has the advantage.
Yeah, I just realized that Yoink in all of their games have either been swept or they have swept. So need to keep the
Gotta
the
keep the
pattern
streak
going
alive.
here with the 0-3.
Yeah. All right. So that's the end of the intermediate segment of the countdown. Do you guys have any final words?
I don't know why y'all putting 2-3 versus DKE, dude. It's gonna be a 3-0.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 3-0
Bro.
DKE.
We'll prove it. We'll prove it Saturday.
So that's a lot of talk for a 0-5 team. So I need some backup for that.
Damn, the 2 and
We'll
3
get some
teams
back.
talking.
Oh.
The 2 and 3 teams talking. Would you look at
Yeah,
that?
yeah. And when we beat you guys will be down a map and be behind Wait What. So
We'll still be ahead of you guys.
yeah, okay. It'll take a week or so until we get ahead of you guys. It's all good. We're chilling. We'll make it in the playoffs. Just gotta get ahead of Yoink, right?
That's a W.
Yeah, you guys are actually basically fighting for that 4th seed as of right now.
It's all good. We'll beat you guys. Yoink loses to Wait What as we predicted, and we'll be in the playoffs.
As we predicted.
pretty bold
Because
predictions,
this
right?
countdown is clearly how every match is gonna go down, as proven last week with the
Exactly.
4
Agreed.
analysts all predicting OC gonna win against High Society, but you know.
Exactly. Like I do not believe I've gotten at least half of my predictions right on every single
Absolutely.
one of the countdowns.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Hooters,
Nick's
that
gonna
is
get
good.
one round.
Yeah. My prediction, I have at least 30% right. So I'm good. With
Congrats.
that. Yeah, let's go. All right, so that's the end of the countdown. Yeah. All right. See you guys next time.
What's happening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Advanced Division segment for week 6. Damn, we're already week 6. Anyways, got some guests for you today. We got Apollo, the hit scan from the Flock.
Hello.
We got Pascal, former coach, now flex support, almost a DPS for Hanamura.
Yo.
And we got Agreed. Everyone knows Agreed. Okay. He is eating / possibly sick or something. I don't know. He's low energy today, but getting to the matches this past weekend, all 3 O's across the board. Some expected, some less expected. I think some matches were expected to be a little bit closer. Getting into the first match, we had Flushed versus Hangzhou. Flushed took it 3-0. I think people were expecting this one to be a lot closer. Unfortunately, wasn't quite the case.
They fucking
But-
DDoSed our flex support.
L.
Our fucking flex support got DDoS.
Oh, that's right, Andrew. Yep.
You got DDoS 2 times in a row. The first time we were able to get Chuggy, and then the second time Hedwig was like, no! And we didn't get Chuggy in the second time.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you gotta. Once the map starts, you're not supposed to. I remember Hedwig was talking about that. He's like, I'll just let him restart the map or whatever and sub someone in, but after a while, you just kind of have to go roll with the punches.
At
So-
that point, but we didn't start yet. We were still in setup point. Like we had just loaded into the map when he DDoSed, and that happened both times. It's not
I mean,
like
if we can
it's like we didn't even have a chance to select our characters. Like that's how like fast it was. Like it shouldn't be that rule shouldn't be in place when it's that close.
That's something we can talk about in staff, but right now we do the open division
Okay.
rules where like they will be extremely strict in open division, like you can't restart the map or whatnot. People will
That's
throw
it,
hissy
that-
fits
well-
over that.
I don't want to be that guy, but we're not open division. We don't really need to be as strict. We should kind of value the fun a little bit more. That's what went down this season. This season just not has been as fun because it's just been so much stress. It's just like you have to keep yourself in line. It's like you have to follow the entire rule book, but it's like some of the rules just don't make sense, and you just kind of. And sometimes like you'll do something that like is such a niche of a rule that you'll just get absolutely fucked by the rule, even though you don't know what's going on. It's not very pleasant.
It depends on the role, but I do kind of see where you're coming from. I've been attempting to lobby and staff to lighten up a bit, but that's a discussion for another time towards the off season. Anyways, Flushed did take it 3-0. Client, actually, a new pickup for them from Hanamura originally. Got the player of the match. Honorable mention went to Ultra. Rather new pickup for them as well, although he's been there for a couple weeks at this point. Anyways, going on to the next match, Flock versus Goats Only. I'm not sure what anyone was expecting with this one other than a 3-0 for Flock. I actually hosted this one. The Flock just utterly dominated. It wasn't particularly close. Like, Goats Only had some fun niche strategies that they pulled out at times, but they didn't really quite understand when to swap off of them when that was appropriate, so they just kind of got hammered the entire time.
Yeah, usually when we scrim them, they perform pretty well, and like, it was just like you said, a dominant performance in the match. It was fun, even though I didn't play. It's fun to watch.
Oh yeah, that's right, you didn't play.
Yeah.
So used to seeing you start, but actually we did see the Peter and Neural DPS line to
They're both nuts.
2 Season 0 champs, have a lot of synergy together. Very distinct playstyles, but rather fun to watch. Ironically enough, both of them, as well as Fordle, got, yeah, both of them plus Fordle got, whatchamacallit, player of the match, 3-way tie. I don't know how that happens, but occasionally it does happen. And then honorable mention goes out to Akahap. He in particular, Akahap, just like dominated with the anti-nades. I feel like that opened up a lot of Goats Only's niche strategies. Like, they ran out with a lot of off-meta picks, and it kind of worked, and then all of a sudden just a huge anti-nade would come in, get like 5 or 6 of them. It's like, well, that's the round.
Yeah. He's been putting in a lot of work, and it's you can definitely see.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot to look impressive when you have Meek also on the roster. Although I think Meek has like prior engagements as well sometimes. But kind of reminds me of last season with Crest with Buffalo and J Venom, where like J Venom was slightly worse, but like not to a degree where it actually affected the team's performance. Anyways, good players there. Next match of the week was actually something I was really happy to see. I don't like seeing any winless teams. Hanamura finally got a win on the board. 3-0, and then there was one tie against Newt Newt. I still don't quite understand how that happened. Like, what changed?
It was more like I think it was more Newt playing like shit than Hanamura playing better. It was mostly Newt just absolutely sandbagging. They like I don't know. Mega Gus and Mythology turned off the computers halfway through that. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, Mega Gus was actually playing really well. I think his Mythology was, I don't know, he didn't think he was trying. Yeah.
I don't think they have a flex DPS right now, or do they?
Yeah. Well, they have Kaigo, I guess.
Oh, well, they just picked him up. That wasn't this past weekend.
Newt's a pretty solid team. Is it Tiny Moon that's the hit skin, right?
That's Hanamura.
For Hanamura.
That's Hanamura. Oh, I'm complete. Oh yeah, Jazza. Jazza's really good. Like, he can aim, and it's impressive.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's over.
He just went Widow on King's Row and hard carried for like the first 2 points and couldn't do anything. Totally adapted.
Yeah, actually, I think King's Row is the only time I noticed Newt's actually having like a dominant performance. Like, prior to that, it kind of looked like they were just getting steamrolled. Like, I will say that Newt's looked a lot worse than they have in the past, but Hanamura also looked like a lot more clean and concise in their play. Like, in previous weeks, I noticed like they had good strategies and whatnot, but like, you guys didn't have great target focus, and this week it was like spot on, you know. I think.
Well, we're a completely different team now.
Yeah, that too. You did change up quite a few of the lineup.
The only thing we've really kept in our starting lineup is our DPS. Now you have me, you have MK from intermediate. It's a support line, and then you have Joshua starting finally, and you have Northern, who's our.
I don't know why I'm gonna be honest. You guys are kind of stupid for benching him for flawless. I don't know what you guys thought was.
Well, the problem with that was that they couldn't get a consistent support lineup for a while, so Joshua had to ring on maid support for a long time. So that's kind of the reason why.
Even when the scrim was full, you guys still wouldn't put him in.
We had a lot of disagreements about this, and I don't want to go too deep into it. With Client, I think we had a completely different playstyle, and that he preferred playing with Flawless over Joshua. But with this new roster, we are having a lot of success with Joshua.
You're off things for Conjure now, right?
Northern is our
Northern, yeah.
starting off tank, and we have Bakanje off the bench.
Okay.
And Northern actually, despite, like, I don't think I've ever seen him before last weekend, but he actually put up a pretty good fight.
He's really good. He's a really reliable player too. Client did a lot of the communication in our team, a lot of the ult tracking. So with him gone, we were kind of worried that would fade away, but a lot of guys stepped up, like Joshua, like MK, and Northern. He doesn't call him that much, but he's hyper aware. He pays really good attention. He's always listening, and obviously he got some really good eats on Mails at the end that like saved us the game. So he's just a really great diva overall.
Yep. And actually, I do want to shine a little bit of light on MK as well, coming up from intermediate. That's not something easy, especially when you're facing Ben in that case, because Ben is not one of the best main supports, but he's a pretty darn good main support. So standing up to him and actually not being not feeding as much as you'd expect that, low masters coming from intermediate main support, he did really good. I think. Yeah.
For sure. He has some sick mechanics too, and he was he was challenging Jazza on.
Yep, I saw that. There was a few times where Jazza was just like uncontested, and when all of a sudden you see MK killing him, kill feed, like, well, okay, problem solved. But anyways, player of the match there was actually Pascal, by a large margin of votes, might I add. And then honorable mentions go out to Tiny Moo and Joshua, finally getting the start on the main tank, as he said. And then last match of the week was Easy Clap versus Guangzhou. Kind of unsurprising that they 3-0'd Guangzhou. I know there's a little bit of tension there between the two teams. I think I figured out like Easy Clap's problem, because like they memed on Hanamura really hard in the beginning of the season when they faced him, despite the fact that that match was kind of a foregone conclusion at that point. But originally I thought it was just because they took offense to everyone predicting Hanamura to be a good team preseason, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's more of, like, if they're not able to... how to put it? If a team actually challenges them to the point where they can't 100% meme and absolutely not try and still stomp, they get offended and they get pissed off. Because they trash-talked Guangzhou just about as much as they did Hanamura, and both teams... forced them off of... I don't want to say they're... like, Hanamura forced them onto meta. Guangzhou didn't quite do that, but they forced them to not utterly feed their brains out and still get away with it. So, like, whenever they would, like, go touch the spawn doors of Guangzhou, they'd actually get punished, and then Guangzhou would go cap the point. So, like, I think that's what it is. I mean, granted, on top of the entire team just being a bunch of toxic little pricks at times. I mean, true. No one's going to argue with me at that. Even the team, like, they aside from like Yusuf and Cal, who don't really talk at all, like the ones who do talk can get extremely riled up at times.
True.
And what's the which thing? For them, I believe it was Cal, but let me double check that. No, it was actually Colby. That's right. They had people on like a whole different kind of off roles. Yeah, he was actually in on the main support. Cal was playing mostly Zen. Colby was primarily on Brig, and they had Koodle and off tank. I believe because they had a few people unavailable. Void wasn't there. Falcon wasn't there. And then honorable mention did go out to Cal. That's what I was thinking of. But yeah, I think that's the first time Colby's played. Didn't look terrible. So good on him for getting player of the match. Anyways, going over to the predictions, we got some potential for some good matches here. Also some potential for stomps, depending on which version of these teams show up, I think. But we'll go down that line one by one. So first match of the week is going to be Newt Newt versus Goats Only. Now, pretty much everyone besides Agreed thinks that Newt Newt's going to take this. Agreed thinks it'll be Goats Only taking it in a very narrow match. So Agreed, like, what do you think is going to put Goats Only ahead, or what do you think is going to, like, stop Newt Newt from actually taking the win?
Depends what Chegg decides to do, because if Adam I forget who else it is, show up, that'll be a good support line. I'll be able to even it out. But the deciding factor was if Vegetal can show up. That's pretty much it. And I don't mean like show up to the game, I mean show up in general, like as a good player, because his Ryan is very bad. So like watching it makes me have an aneurysm usually. So as long as he doesn't make me want to die when I watch it, I think he'll be fine. If he can just not be bad, I think they'll win. It's really on his shoulders to not get boomed to the absolute hell by Mega Gus. But if he does, yeah, I think Ghost Only will lose. But if he does decently, they'll win really easily.
Actually, interesting factoid about Vegetal. He originally was an off tank. That's like
He originally
primary.
was an Orisa one trick. You also forgot to mention that.
I didn't know that part, but I know like from the past he's
Yeah.
been primarily an off tank, but he had to swap over to main tank specifically for Ghosts Only because God knows what's happening with their main tank issues.
No. He used to show up to the pugs all the time. And he used to be off tank, but then he started playing Orisa and Calm, and he got an ego boost from getting EGM on Orisa. So he just kind of rided that wave to be main tank. That's exactly what happened.
Okay, I guess that'd explain why he doesn't. He's not completely terrible in Rhine, but like.
Oh no, he is. I want to
Like,
watch. I'd rather watch
he's-
paint dry than his gameplay.
We'll get there, but like he has his moments, like you said, but like he is very streaky. I'd consider him probably one of the worst off tanks in advance, like starting off tank or starting main tanks in advance.
He's probably the worst. Yeah, there's not really anybody else I can go that's like worse than Vegetal. Maybe me. I'm pretty shit. Unlucky.
Depends on who's
Unlucky.
micromanaging you. But yeah, pretty much everyone else thinks Newt can take it either 3-1 or 3-0. Anyone have anything special they want to say about this match?
Goats Only, like, they show up in scrims, so I feel like I know I predicted Nudu to win, but like if they can show up in the match like they do in scrims, then I think they'll be pretty okay.
Yeah.
For me, I just don't see them being able to deal with Mega Gust and Jazza at the same time. That was
Jazz is not hard to deal with. He's good, but
Uh-huh.
but he has pretty bad positioning.
that's
If I
true,
can shut
but,
him down, anybody can.
but you have to deal with Mega Gust at the same time. Is my point.
You have to do a
And-
Mega Gus, but Mega Gus, like, is a little.
Mega Gust is a pretty good run, I'd say.
He's good. He's not that good. He's good. He's decent. Like he's on par with maybe I would like to say. Which is 100% better than him, but so is Yusuf.
Anyways, moving on to the next match. I think this one has the potential to really go the distance, or just be a complete stomp. It really depends. But the Flock versus Easy Clap. Now, obviously, Apollo can't give his predictions on the scores, and I'll ask him what he thinks is going to happen in a moment. I think it'll be 3-2, just mostly because of the history between the teams that Ozzy face versus the New York Locals gang, which is primarily what Easy Clap is this time around. Agreed thinks it'll be 3-0 for Easy Clap, and Pascal thinks it'll be 3-1. Apollo, what are you thinking going into Easy Clap as the only other undefeated team?
So, everybody underrated like a lot of our roster. Like coming into this, granted we didn't have a lot of known people, but like literally you can put everyone in our roster and everyone will just perform. And so I think
I mean,
that,
to be
go ahead.
to be fair, you guys were really shit at the beginning of Orisa meta.
Yeah, and
I think
but,
when
like,
Ryan came to meta, you guys became way better.
yeah, we worked it out just because like a lot of us weren't super comfortable with like the double shield meta, and but we figured everything out. Like Surf's Diva's insane and Devs is good. But like I think that we could pull out some stuff that like easy or that they just wouldn't expect, like, and just make it easy for us.
I don't think anything about Easy Clap is going to be easy. I'll say that right now. Like, they have such a disgusting amount of talent, but they also aren't scrimming. So, like, if you can defeat them with pure structure and teamwork, then that's gonna be like the best way. I mean, like, from experience of as a spectator, the more they call you cringe, the better you're probably doing.
Yeah. Like I
that's-
think that just the fact that we're going to be a little bit more organized than them is going to go a long way.
Yeah. They do thrive off of that chaos, though. So, like, I think it's going to be very interesting to see, like, if hyper organization can win out over this, like, hyper aggressive chaos, because, like, I think the VOD is up for Guangzhou versus Easy Clap from last week, because like Guangzhou would actually be winning a fight, and then Millen would just come in on Doomfist and get like a 4K and just win the entire fight. And it's like, okay, that's just over. So I'm gonna be very interested to see, because I think if anyone currently can take on Easy Clap, it's going to be the Flock, which is why I think it'll be 3-2. I hope it's 3-2. I don't know. I kind of hope that there's no undefeated teams and no winless teams by the end of the season. It tells me that at the very least we enabled the teams as staff enough to let them experience everything, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. It is Easy Clap after all, so anything can happen.
I don't think it'll be a roll. I think it'll be a good game.
I hope not. I hate seeing rolls. I'm sure the teams want it to be a roll. Anyways, going into the next match of the week, Hangzhou versus Hanamura. Let's see. Well, we have two people from that match, Pascal and Agreed. I'll ask you two on your opinions. I'm sure Agreed is going to have a lot to say. I think it'll be Hanamura taking it 3-1, just because I have no idea what's going on with Hangzhou at the moment. And then Apollo thinks it'll be 3-2 Hangzhou. Potentially a very close match. I could also see it being a roll either way. We'll start with Pascal, because I think Agreed will have the hottest takes. So what are you thinking going into this match, of this 2 weeks from now, rather?
I mean, I'm just pretty confident in us right now. We're doing really well. We're meshing a lot better than we were in the past. And at the same time, Bark lost some pretty good players. Depending on...
That's why I was saving you for last.
Actual head assery, Kygo.
At the same time, you guys have connection problems, so who knows if you live in Sean.
That was just one time with it.
And I mean, I don't know. I'm just pretty confident in us right now, and I don't see Agreed stopping us.
Go ahead, Agreed. You can give your rant now.
Okay.
Everyone's waiting.
Okay. So first of all, he dropped Kygo. It's fucking Kygo. He's a fucking shitter. He's literally all he does is literally join our VC and match chat, and he just goes, "Please win, please." And it's at a point now that I'm just we literally had a run with him because he was just when he gets times. He still love it.
We can't hear you, man.
You're so quiet.
Okay, Dad. I'm sorry. My mic is in an echo. So basically. Fuck me. So basically, Kygo is like, he just calms way too much, and like he just needs to be quiet sometimes, but he doesn't know how to. So he just kind of
sounds.
And I like actually you were it was Hedwig, because he kept because Kygo wouldn't shut up, and it was very annoying. It was very annoying. We just were like, shit, this is annoying. Just drop him. And then now all we're really missing is a May player. But other than that, I think we probably win, but. No, I'm not gonna say anything.
If I recall, like towards the beginning of the season, Chuggy wasn't terrible at May. Like he mechanically he wasn't particularly great. He obviously had that synergy, so he played really smart. But I don't think he could really stack up against some of the better Mays in the league currently. So either he has to grind it out or find.
I'm not gonna cap, but this May's pretty bad, yeah.
Although he wasn't.
I'm not gonna straight up lie to you. I'm not gonna say he's the best man in this league. I'm not gonna sit here and go, yeah, he's the best man in the league. It's not true. And he's a really good person. I like him a lot. He kind of uplifts the comms because we always, whenever he's doing bad, we're like, Chuggy, we're gonna bench you for Squiddy G, and that's how he gets his kicks. That's how he gets better. Should have thrown him with Squiddy G. But other than that, yeah, most of our players are definitely better than Hanamura's though.
Really?
Especially our support line.
Your support
line? Depends on if Andrew shows up or not.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see.
Like if Andrew shows up, I could definitely see that argument. Jepic is still starting main support, right? You didn't swap that out?
Maybe. I want to see if Genie's decent.
And then,
okay.
Well, Genie's primarily flex support as well, so.
No, he's not primarily.
Is he? Well, he used to be.
Now. He's now a Lucio player, and he goes 4200 now. So
okay.
That's decent.
I mean, he was 4.3 peak flex support, if I recall correctly. So I'm not shocked that he can flex over to Lucio.
What's your peak? What's your peak?
But do you guys still have Vermilion, or did you trade him away or release him? I forget.
No, we do not. We do have Vermilion, but we're
do?
not using him.
Okay.
If Andrew's there, we're not.
Okay.
We definitely have the better tank line for sure, though.
That is a personal insult to him.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
I think I know about that one though.
Wait, who are y'all's tanks on Hanamura?
Joshua and
Joshua
Northern.
Northern, yeah. Versus
Okay, well I
Agreed
can't really speak
and,
much because like
YOLO. Took me a second.
yeah.
You think I'm gonna like cut your penis off, dude? Just talk.
No. I'm talking about because like we scrimmed a different Hanamura than what y'all are gonna, and we played a different Hanamura than what y'all are gonna play. But like I don't know, Joshua he's like hit or miss, and because I don't know, it's kind of easy.
No, not wrong.
Agreed. You also fainted, so I mean it's just like
I
it's
heard
usually-
into it, but to be honest, in that one scrim, I did kind of show up though.
Yeah. I'll give you credit where credit's due, but
think,
yeah.
As long as I'm not hard inting in my brain, I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, as long as like
Because
it's gonna boil down to like whoever ints less.
I don't think you understand. When we're winning, I just go weed and I charge in the back line and I throw the rest of the games.
I think everybody knows that.
Everyone knows that, but I think one particular matchup I'm really interested in seeing for this game is going to be Glacial versus Agreed, because Glacial is...
I'm sorry, I thought
probably-
you were talking like a main tank for you.
No,
and
no,
I
no,
was
no.
like, wait a
I mean,
minute.
like, because Glacial is a very smart Mei player, and I've seen what Mei players can do to Agreed, so, like, I think it depends
It's
on
not
how
that
much
hard
they
to
can
avoid players
capitalize.
anymore, though. It's really not.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I hope it'll be a close match. I don't like seeing stomps, but that's just, you know, from a spectator's perspective. Anyways, let's get on to the last match. So we got Flushed versus Guangzhou. Actually, no one here is in that match, so we got everyone's predictions. Pretty much everyone thinks it'll be Flush taking it. I think they can. Guangzhou can take a map, but everyone else thinks Guangzhou will get 3-0'd for the most part. I think, depending on who's playing in Guangzhou, because they've been swapping up their lineup quite a bit. I think more recently they've been playing Aegis last weekend as opposed to Brody. I still don't know what's happening with Brody. Like, is he just not able to show up?
Shit, I'm not gonna even cap. It's literally universal. Oh my god, that could have got boomed to the next millennia. I don't know what happened to him, man. I was like, he's a 4300 tank player. This is gonna be so fun. I'm gonna be able to actually try, and then head assery over here, Lily. I did a 360 shatter and he got hit still. I don't know, man. He actually had ass.
Yeah, I think he definitely hasn't lived up to his hype of being the highest peaked player from the draft. But he definitely has his moments, mechanically speaking, but I don't know if he has that synergy.
Doesn't? What?
Oh, he definitely does, inarguably. Like, he'll int hard and then somehow survive the fight, and you're like, what the hell? But for the most part, like, in terms of teamwork...
That's like Agreed, but he doesn't
Sounds like
survive.
somebody you know. I can't put my finger on it. Sounds like somebody I know.
But the difference
Like
is he gets away with it. Like,
Yeah,
sometimes.
exactly.
Granted, now that we're reaching the halfway point in the season where, like, teams are actually going to start being coordinated, minus Easy Clap, they're going to be able to punish that sort of stuff, so it's going to be more based on teamwork. Plus, Easy Clap is just Easy Clap, so they're not. They're sort of the anomaly in the league. But aside from Flushed going through a lot of random lineup changes and all that crap happening, I feel like they're still not weak enough to fall to Guangzhou. Is probably like second to third weakest in the league right now, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I mean, honestly though, I think the biggest problem right now for fans is mostly either the rule booking or the fucking the streams. The streams are like non-existent unless it's Flush playing, and it's not.
I've been trying.
Nobody wants to do anything really special if it's not on stream. It's just not really like something we want to do. Like we don't get kooky, crazy plays when we're not even being watched. It's not very fun to do. Like we want to be watched when we're playing. Like it's a very important part of playing in advance.
Believe me,
like,
I've been trying.
Everyone talked so poorly on me at the beginning of the season, and then like I like picked up my own weight, and it was nice to have that on stream and like hear casters being like, you know, oh, he's really stepped it up. Like it encourages people more.
Yeah, I've been on stream once, and it was when I got boomed by Crest on the fucking last map. I hadn't warmed up for 2 hours. Dude, I literally woke up from a nap right before the game. I didn't warm up. I was just watching Juice play, and I was like, what the fuck is he doing? And then I went in, and I was like, can I just be? And then I did.
Granted, you got walled off cooldown.
Yeah. I was like,
unfortunate.
this wall first, man. And he's like, he went, oh.
Yeah.
What was that noise? Yeah,
I tried to make a platypus noise.
What? What?
Because his profile picture is a platypus.
Oh, okay.
Hot take: as long as Zero doesn't play McCree, I think Flush will be fine. Hot take. No BM.
Hot take.
You have to remember
That's
Hero
like
fans.
that's like fucking some cold ass shit that no shit.
Zero's McCree is
Fucking dog shit.
I'm gonna
That's
be
the
honest.
worst thing I've ever seen.
That cap or no?
Okay.
no cap. Like no
Okay,
cap.
dude.
Zero's McCree is he goes me all the time and like will not talk to me, but his McCree is
There's certain heroes that Zera's and Sena, and then there's just some that you don't ever want to see him play, like Zarya and McCree, and those are the big two that come to mind from the past seasons. Anyways,
I'm gonna be honest. My brain is a little slow, so I just
We know.
we know. No, it's
I was harping on this argument. So earlier you said your tank line was better, right, Pascal?
Yeah, it is better.
we're going
How?
How? You're on your tank line, and we have different.
That's an L.
Damn, Pascal. Joshua is the better tank, I guess. Shake my head.
It'd be like that.
Well, Akri knows that me and Yolo gotta have the best tank synergy in this entire league.
Doubt. Have you ever seen Fortal and Surf? Fortal and Surf really like hard carry matches.
I will say that you and Yolo have
synergy-wise.
a lot of really good synergy, though. Like you two
We-
play off
we
each
act-
other really well.
Yeah, we have the best synergy in this league because you guys it's like I'm not saying they're bad together, but they I don't think you guys have the level of trust in the tank line that because I've been playing with Yolo Street for 3 years, so I understand how his playstyle and my playstyle, and we work off each other that way. It's very easy. So I don't know. It's more of a battle, but we have the worst mechanics most likely.
I don't know. There's arguments to be made for it, but I can attest to their synergy being pretty out there. Anyways, that's the last of the matches and all that. That's pretty much everything I've got. So if you guys got any final statements, go for it.
Do I do it?
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Whatever it is.
I have an idea.
Queen!
Yep, I called it.
I knew like if I was ever on a countdown, I had to do it because everybody would want me to do it. I knew it was the possibility.
Anyways, Pascal, Paulo, you got any closing statements, or are you good?
An undefeated GR.
Shout outs to Joshua. He's gonna boom. Agreed. And shout out to Flawless. He really picked his team up. Picked up some awesome guys. Shout out to MK for stepping it up. Come from intermediate. And that's it.
Shout out to my homie Raquel. Shout out to my homie Jerome. Shout out to my homie.
Shout out to Glacial. Shout out to Tiny Moo.
Shout out to the whole roster.
Shout out to my baby mama Raquel.
Anyways, that's all we got this week. Peace out.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen of League Zero? I hope you all are having a good day so far. I hope you all have been enjoying the countdown up into this point. Of course, if you don't know me, my name is Dividing. I am the owner of League Zero. I also have a YouTube channel you might possibly know about. And I am in charge of this week's weekly segment. Now, the last weekend of games was pretty impactful because it marks the midway point between the League Zero Season 2 regular season. We have 6 total weeks down, 6 total weeks to go. All the teams have played 5 of their 10 games. So with that in mind, this is a really good time for us as staff to really sit down and think about how the league has been going so far this season and how we could be improving. So as a part of that, I really wanted to take control of the weekly session this week and give you all a chance to ask me a few questions about League Zero. If you guys saw, I made an announcement earlier in the week saying, hey, I'm doing this, fill out this quick form and submit a question and I might answer it on League Zero in the countdown. And I want to say thank you to everyone who sent in questions. I got almost 40 submissions, which is honestly more than I thought I was going to get. So I want to say thanks to all of you. Unfortunately, I don't have time to answer every single one of them. But I have picked out 12 questions here that I'm going to be answering today, and I hope you all enjoy. So with that in mind, we're going to get started with our first question, which is from Killa, who asks, what is your reason for making League Zero, and where did your passion for Overwatch come from? So I think I'm going to start with where my passion for Overwatch came from. And what happened with that was I actually bought Overwatch at launch for the first time, and I played it for a couple of months. I thought it was pretty good, I had fun with it, and then eventually I got bored and put it away. And I didn't even think about Overwatch for like a year and a half or something like that. And I think it was actually while I was doing research for college essays, when I was applying to colleges. I don't remember exactly what the topic was of the essay, but I stumbled upon an article that was talking about the Overwatch League. And I was like, oh, this sounds really cool. And so during the opening day of Overwatch League, I was really interested in it. And I watched the opening day of Overwatch League, and I was hooked from the very start. I thought the concept of it was so awesome. It was my first real exposure to professional esports. So through that experience of watching Overwatch League is what eventually got me back into Overwatch and what has started this passion for esports in general that I have. As far as my reason for making League Zero, the reason for that is a little funny, is that I didn't actually make League Zero. It was a project by some of the moderators on my main server originally. A guy named Plasma is the person who really spearheaded the movement for them. A lot of you people in advanced and intermediate probably know Plasma. I don't know as much about Novice, but he was the person who like really put it together to start. It was really just a bunch of people who were in my main server who did it in its Season 0 form, as we call it. And after Season 0 finished, Plasma, well, I guess I should say first, is that at the time, I was super, like, you know, I'm not going to be super involved in this, but I'll endorse it if you guys do it, and I'll cast some games. And that was kind of I was very hands-off on it at first. But by the time the season ended, Plasma left the moderation of League Zero, and I kind of took over from there. And that leads me into my second question, which is from Dog4, which is, why do you continue to administrate League Zero? And again, like I mentioned, when it started, I had a very hands-off approach, like, oh, I don't really care that much. But as Season 0 progressed, and I got to see all these different friend groups that formed because of it, and how people were playing and improving and having fun, I just fell in love with the idea. I started getting more and more active in administrating League Zero. I started to become more involved as the Season 0 went on, to the point where I just really, really like seeing the positive things that League Zero brings to people. I really do. I think League Zero can be an incredibly good place where players who don't have much experience talking or playing in a competitive Overwatch environment, because we all know solo queue can be incredibly frustrating. Overwatch is meant to be played with an actual team that you all know how to play. You all know have plans, you have strategies, and you pop off together and you shout and you have fun, and it's great. And that's the kind of thing that I really want to try and provide to people. And being able to provide people with not only like that competitive experience who maybe hasn't had that experience before, but also just like a circle of friends and people that you enjoy hanging out with. Like that kind of stuff is what I really like to see, and that's why I continue to administrate League Zero. Next question comes from Hunter27King, who asks, how can you improve League Zero moving forward, and what are you doing right now that you think could be improved upon? Also give me one thing that you think League Zero is doing perfectly. I'm going to start with the good thing before we go into the bad thing. I think something that League Zero is doing very well right now as staff is I'm very proud with our whole mindset around enforcing rules. For those of you who are around in League Zero, I think you can all agree that one of our biggest problems in Season 1 was inconsistencies in enforcing the rules. There were many situations where we would come down, bring the hammer on someone, and suspend them for something that may or may not have actually been in the rules or not. There were a lot of things that were happening that we didn't really have rules for, so we ended up going off of not going off of precedent. There was no precedent. we ended up having to add a lot of new things into the rules that we weren't expecting to add in. And now this season, I think things have gone a lot smoother. I think we are doing a lot better job, like, people might not be happy with the way we enforce the rules sometimes, but we are enforcing the rules, and I think that's the important part, is that when something happens that goes against the rules, we're like, okay, you broke this rule, right? And we can point to the rulebook and say, this is where in the rulebook you broke. In the past, we haven't really been as good about doing that. And I want to say, we aren't perfect. We have been making some mistakes, but the mistakes we have made we have made fewer mistakes, and the mistakes have been more minor compared to how they were in Season 1. That is something that we as staff really wanted to improve upon in Season 2, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. As far as improving League Zero moving forward, I'd have to say that we need to have a better process for dealing with Smurfs. In Season 1, we didn't really have much of a Smurf problem. Either they happened and just no one said anything about it, or it just didn't happen. It just makes me really weird how there are so many people there are a lot of Smurf accusations that get thrown around, right? And, maybe around 30% of them are actually valid, but the point is that dealing with Smurfs and accusations of Smurfs and actual Smurfs is something that we've never really had to deal with before, and that's made dealing with it quite messy, and it's not something that I'm super proud of. I wish there was a better way that we could go through and handle these reports that we get, because what we're scared of, right, when it comes to Smurfs is we really don't want to punish people for a false positive. Also, we don't want to punish people for improving while they're on a League Zero team, because that's the whole point of League Zero, right? So that makes it really tough at this point. Like, you are almost never going to see us move up a player at this point and say, hey, this person's a Smurf, or ban them for Smurfing because they improved while they were in a League Zero team. Because at this point, if you improved, we're not going to punish you, and we're not going to punish your team for making you improve. I've noticed that's a thing in some other leagues where they, enforce hard SR caps, and if you start, if the SR cap is Masters, and you start the season at 3,400, and then 3 weeks later you jump up to 3,600 because you played with your team and got better, they will just kick you out of the league. And that doesn't sit right with me, because I don't want people to be scared of playing comp and be scared of improving because they're scared they're going to get kicked out of League Zero if they improve. That is the opposite of what I want. So because of that, that makes finding, actual malicious Smurfs a lot more difficult. And I wish that we had a better process for dealing with that. And I hope we do as we move forward. Alpha Omega asks, do you think League Zero could eventually become a development league for Open Division? And the answer is, yeah, that's actually kind of the point. League Zero is meant to give people that, that first competitive Overwatch experience. That they're like, yeah, this thing is awesome. Or, maybe they decide, oh, I don't really want to do this. And, that's totally fine. But the hope is that people see my videos about League Zero, go try League Zero, they're like, oh wow, that was really fun, I want to do more of this, and that's usually when they move on and make Open Division teams, and I think that's awesome. I think people who make Open Division teams at any level because of League Zero, I love that stuff. So yes, I think League Zero is already kind of a development league for Open Division, and I'm totally happy with that. The next question comes from Lexi, who asks, do you have any long-term plans or changes coming to League Zero, such as more games or reaching a viewership goal? I don't really have a viewership goal kind of deal that I'm reaching for. I don't really care how much our games get viewed on Twitch. I really don't. We're not trying to become this big conglomerate company that has a massive following and Twitch partner and whatever. That's not the point. So, not that. I think the biggest long-term goal here is being able to expand and accommodate more people and more teams. as well as right now expanding to more regions. I'm hoping one day, hopefully somewhat soon, League Zero EU can become a thing. That is kind of my long off pipeline thing that like I'm hoping that one day we can expand to EU. Next question from Tark33. Is there going to be an all-star game, and if so, how are the all-stars going to be selected? So yes, in the past we have had all-stars in an all-star game. I will say that I can't say what I'm going to say now is 100% how we're going to do it, because then to be honest, staff hasn't thought at all about the all-star game and selecting all-stars, because the voting for the all-star game usually happens between the break between the end of the regular season and the playoffs, right? So I don't know if this is exactly how it's going to work, but there were some problems with the All-Star selection last year because it was just pretty much a popular vote, and that doesn't really do well to actually give us the best players. So what we're thinking of doing is we're going to make a Google form and give that to all of the team managers and say, and also like the team captains and stuff, and say, all right, nominate someone at every position for an all-star award, and you can't nominate anyone on your own team. And we give that to the managers, they fill it out, and then from there we find the 3 to 5 most responded people in that nomination form, and from there we will make a full all-star voting form that is public, and do the voting among those 5 nominated people. So that's what we're thinking. It might change, it might not, I don't know yet. Number 7 from Spork asks, what are your thoughts on hero bans? I will say, I'm recording this on like Sunday afternoon. Overwatch League is just about to start. I'm having a very good time watching Soldier and Overwatch League. This was a very weird combination of hero bans that caused Soldier to be meta. Like, you just had to get rid of Widow and McCree. It was very weird. But I am really enjoying it and the variety that it's bringing. I do like me some good Soldier gameplay. I'm excited to see what it brings. So I think my overall thoughts on it is cautiously optimistic. And the fact that we're not going to be playing May next week, that also helps. This question is anonymous. It says, in your opinion, what do top teams need to do, or / continue to do, in order to be a top team going into the playoffs? And what will make the second half of the season different from the first? Well, first of all, what makes the second half of the season different from the first is the hero ban system going into effect, based on the previous week of bans in comp. And secondly, we are going to be having a new map pool that's coming in. And that's going to be changing, like, the second half of the season is going to look very different from the first half. And so the first thing that top teams need to do in order to continue improving is to actually adjust to these changes. It's going to be a lot to adjust to. And teams who are maybe really good at the first map pool might not be as good at the second map pool. Who knows? The second thing that I think top teams definitely need to do is not get complacent or apathetic, right? Because we are seeing the teams at the bottom, DKE, OC, Hanamura Hotshots, they're all trying to get better, they're all making moves and adding people to their roster to try and compete, and we're already seeing the results of that a little bit. And I think if teams at the top are like, oh yeah, we're fine, we're just going to coast to the end, they have a very good chance of going 0-5 in the second half of the season and ending up falling out of the playoffs entirely. So adjust, keep your heads in the game, don't get complacent, and top teams should be pretty good. On the other side, next question comes from EQO, who asked, out of the 4 winless teams, DKE, OC, Rio Redemption, Hanamura Hotshots, which do you think has the greatest ability to turn their season around? And I thought about this, right? And I might have wanted to say Hanamura, but I want to see their game against Newts later today first, before I make that decision. So, with that in mind, I think I'm going to go with Dunning-Kruger effect. And this is because of a combination of their moves and also who they're going to be playing against, right? Like, Overcharge, I think, also has a really good chance to be a better team in the second half of the season and get some wins on the board. But the fact of the matter is that with Division B, you've got teams like Powerhouse and Shanghai and Wait What, who are all very, very good teams. And it feels like, at least, we're not going to know for sure until the playoffs when these teams from different divisions actually play each other. But as of right now, it feels like the level of play in Division B is just better than Division A for the most part. So that's why I feel like DKE, with their improvements they've made, they have a new Mei player, they have a new main tank, they have Kit coming in on support, a very good facelift for the team. They played CDC, who is the leader of their division, very closely yesterday. And because of that, and because I think the level of play in Division A is overall just a little bit lower than Division B, I think, honestly, against most teams in Division B right now, I wouldn't want to make like a prediction saying DKE wins until they actually win a game. But I would say, like, against a lot of teams in Division A, I would either favor DKE or I would have them very close. I think because of that, DKE has the best chance of going either 4-1 or 5-0 at the second half of the season and end up sneaking into the playoffs. Another anonymous question asks, Dark Horse pick for League Zero playoffs for all divisions. I'm gonna change this a little bit and say Dark Horse pick to win the season instead of playoffs, because most teams make the playoffs. So Dark Horse pick for Novice is, I think, going to be Platchat. I had a very good feeling about them when I hosted them against Wisdom earlier this week, and they played Wisdom quite well. I think something happened. Maybe they got a little nervous when they went up 2-0, and they were like, oh my gosh, we might actually win this. And then that allowed Wisdom to take advantage. But there was a lot of really, really good stuff that was coming out of Platchat in that game. And I think they do have the potential to have a late season surge once again. Intermediate. Dark Horse for Intermediate, huh? That's tough, because I feel like there's a lot of teams in Intermediate who are still seen as, like, championship contenders. I guess I'll say the Dark Horse for Intermediate is probably Vitalized. Sure, Vitalized. Because people see Vitalized as a good team right now, but they're, like, not at the top, I don't think. I don't think many people think that Vitalized will be able to beat the top teams in Division B. And I think that with their new roster, they also looked very good against Double Cap last week. I think they'll be able to do a lot. I think they'll be able to. I think there's a very good chance that Vitalized could end up surprising people come the playoffs. And then Advanced. The Dark Horse for Advanced will be, I want to say Hangzhou. Hangzhou Bark, maybe? Maybe. Hangzhou, or maybe Flock, or Hanamura, Newt. There's so many. Here's the deal. It's because right now in Advanced, it's fairly clear that Easy Clap is just a cut above everyone else. So the Dark Horses in Advanced is just, who do I think might have a chance of beating Easy Clap in the end? And so Flushed, Newt has a shot, Flock probably has a shot, Hanamura Hotshots, if they put, if a miracle happens, they are the only team who's taken a map off Easy Clap. So that's my opinion on that. Herping Yoshi asks, which match for each division has been your favorite to watch? I don't know if I can pick out one for every division, but I can definitely tell you my favorite game was definitely Newt versus the Flock. This is a game that I hosted and recorded, and this game was just like a super close back and forth affair. It was a lot of fun to watch, and it went to 5 maps. It was super, super close all the way, and then Surf started having disconnection issues in map 4, and he just barely always managed to come back in time, and then Flock won a 5v6 on Oasis, and it was so good. It was such a good game. I really enjoyed playing that game. I remember at the time I was in staff chat giving people like constant updates, like, oh my gosh, Surf's gone, and now he's back, and now he's gone again. It was honestly, it was really stressful at the time, but like looking back, like that was definitely my favorite game so far this season. And this brings us to the final question of the Q&A. It comes from Mentos, who asks, is Tanic a bot? Absolutely. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A. I enjoyed answering your questions. I wish everyone luck going into the second half of League Zero Season 2. And subscribe to me on YouTube. Yeah. Awesome. Don't get tilted, guys.